I said today because we have two sessions. So yeah, today this morning I said we will proceed. We will conduct two practical session, which is this morning and now this afternoon, 1, 2, 3 p.m. Okay, but looking at the condition of my laptop, I don't think I can use this laptop for my practical. I'm going to install another PC, but that one is from my side. So instead of wasting time with the problem of my laptop, so I'm going to proceed with this lecture note. I already checked with the course plan. Okay, course plan, if you may refer to our course plan in week 13 and week 14, you have two empty slot for presentation. Okay, for presentation, if you read the assignment already, you will have for your group, for your class, I don't think the longest will be 1 hour. So we have few hours, additional few hours. So I think for our practical should be enough for us to complete, and we only have 12 practical in total. So I think for practical, we won't have any problem. So it's okay. We are going to proceed with this. We are going to proceed with this chapter. Okay. So this one is our third chapter, not chapter 3, third chapter. Okay. User interface. Last week, we already start with chapter 2, 2.1, user interface 2, but this one is like the second part. This one, as you can see in my screen, I'm sharing UI, user interface navigation. Okay, so what, okay, for mobile application, UI, there's another term, I think I've said it before, UI, UX, user interface, user experience. Okay, for mobile application, even for Android, because we're using Android, for mobile application, another important part other than the function, okay, function always the first thing, not only for mobile application, for software, for other application too, okay. Function is the first thing, the first or main reason why we develop, in this case, in this situation, function is why we develop our mobile application. Second is the UI. Okay, functionality is the first thing, and then other thing that we need to take into the consideration is the UI, user interface. This is very important. Why? User interface is very important in here mobile application, because a good UI, a good user interface, and a good UX, experience, can engage the user with your application. Okay, for example, you want to develop one application, okay, a learning application. If you go to your Google Play Store, you can see there's a lot of there's a lot of application. Of course, like I said, the first thing user going to check is the functionality. Second is this UI. So it is very important to tackle and to engage the user with your mobile application. Okay. However, for this course, mobile application development, okay, this one is just like another sub is just a part of this development. Okay, however, it is still important. So let's start. The one just now is on the introduction. So let's start with 2.2, user interface, the navigation. Okay, what is navigation? Navigation is actually how the user wants to go to the intended page. For example, from the first page, the landing page, how the user can go to the menu page, for example. Okay, so navigation, path, P-A-T-H, the path, okay? Okay, so in this chapter, chapter 2.2, navigation under UI, this is the objective. First, understand the navigation principle. Okay, next, build a dynamic multi-pen using Fragment. We're going to see later what is multi-pen and what is Fragment. Next, create navigation component, element of this navigation. Create a dialog. Dialog is like a window, a pop-up window, for example, navigation drawer, the menu, and the tab. Okay, this one is what we are going to see in this chapter. Okay, so by right at the end of this chapter, you should know this thing. Okay, you should understand this. You should understand or know how to build this multi-pane UI component, the dialog, the navigation drawer, and tabs. Okay, basically, remember, navigation is like a path. So, so, yeah, a path. How the user can go from one menu to another menu, from one page to another page. So the first one is navigation principle. Okay, principle of navigation. Like I said, navigation just now is a path. Okay, for example, from menu, how the user can go to the next page. Okay, so for the first principle here, fixed start destination. What does it mean by fixed start destination? Okay, fixed start destination, that's mean, let's say mobile application. Okay, we have this learning application. So once the user already installed, they have the file they already installed. Once the user, for example, they need to log in first. So once the user already log in, that is the landing page. Landing page is like the main home page. Okay, like the first page that they are going to see. Fixed start destination. That is going to be the first page of the user once they already log in. Let's use website. For example, my staff intranet. Okay, my staff intranet. After I log in, I should see all the news. Okay, that is the start destination before I can go to the maybe the exam student attendance. Okay, the first page that I am going to see in my staff intranet. Same goes to the mobile application. The first page that the user going to see once they log in. Fixed start destination. Okay, navigation state is represented as a stack of this destination. That's mean the path. Remember, navigation, I said just now, it's a path. How this user, for example, from the first page, the landing page, how they are going to go, or for example, the, okay, for example, in my application, learning application, how I, as the user, from this landing page, I'm going to see the subject in my learning application. Okay. Next is up and back are identical within your app task. Up and back here is referring to your button, the button up button and back button. So what is the difference? Okay, I think you usually use this function in your any application, but you don't realize you don't even know what's the name. So for up button, okay, up button, I think you have example later, but for up button, it is a button that will lead you. Okay, for example, I'm from the first page, landing page, I'm going to the next page. So from this page, the second page, I can go to the third page. Okay, so for up button, it is the button that can lead the user from this third page back to the first page. Okay, up button from the third page, direct go to the first page, which is your landing page or your main menu. Okay, back is back button. You can go back to the previous page. For example, from third page, you go back to the second page. Second page, you go back to the first page. It's a back button. So up and back button are identical within your app's task. Okay, the function is basically the same to take back the user to the previous page. However, up is directly, back is step by step. Okay, the up button never exists in your apps. This one is just like a statement. The up button is in the next page, you're going to see what does it mean. And then deep linking simulates manual navigation. What is deep linking? Where is it? Yeah, we have example. Deep linking, okay, we have example in the next page. However, deep linking, that's mean using the deep linking function, we don't have, as a user, we don't have go to the website or we don't have go to the we don't have to go to the website. So we can use this function, for example, from the main menu, if I want to see details on that particular page, I can go using that application. I don't have go to the website. Okay, deep linking. We have example later using an image. So deep linking simulates manual navigation. Okay, that means the user can use uh, this function to go directly to their intended page. Okay, so basically this is a navigation principle. Okay, principle for mobile application, or if you want to talk about UI, user interface, there's no fixed solution. There's no fixed method if you want to tackle this concept, which is UI. However, we have a principle, we have a guideline. That means, like I said, we don't have any specific method. However, we have like a guideline. So the developer can at least follow the principle or the guideline to develop the mobile application. So the first part, fixed start destination. Okay, fixed start destination. So this one, if you cannot see this one, you may go to your lecture note and it's at the bottom here. So every app you build has a fixed start destination. So this destination is also the last screen the user sees when they return to the launcher after pressing the back button. Okay, fixed start destination. Like I said, main menu, landing page, home page, home page. Okay, the home page is the first page that you're going to see, that I'm going to see if I use the application. And by right, usually, mobile application, if you want to log out, if there's any logout button, if you want to log out, this logout button will be at the landing page, the home page. Okay, so it should be the first and the last screen. Okay, the last screen when the user return to the launcher after pressing the back button. As you can see here, we have the logic, the flow of this principle, the navigation. The first one, fixed destination. So this is my, let's say this one is my landing page. Sorry, home page. Home page, landing page is the same. So this one is my home page. So from this page, I can go to this page. From this page, I can go to the next and next button. And for a good UI, okay, for a good UI, they will have a menu or a button or a path where they will allow user to go back to this page. For example, here, as you can see, from C, this page, I can go back to this page B, and from page B I can go back to page A. Okay, this is one of a guideline to design your page. But for some application or some mobile application, you cannot go back to the previous page. Okay, this one is another concern in designing. Okay, they don't allow the user to go back to the previous page. Okay, so your mobile application, if you want to have a good design, good UX, you should allow the user to go back to the previous page from C to B. Or there's another design. If you notice, usually at the top top of your page, you can see they have this page. For example, they will link, for example, from start, when you go to page A, they will have a link on page A. And then when you go to link page B, there will be a link in page B. So when you go to the page C, there will be a link to the page C. So let's say I'm currently at page C, right? I can click to the link where I can jump to page A. I don't have to go back to this page B, page A. I can from page C, I can directly to page A. But that one, you need to be very careful, because when you do that, when you apply that method, okay, when you apply that method, sometimes you need to see the function too. Okay, this is the example of fixed start destination. Next is navigation that is represented as a stack of destination. What is stack here before we go to this slide? Stack is like this one, okay? We have three patch. Okay, we have three patch. If this is your first patch, if this is the first patch, then this one will be four patch. So let's say this is my landing page, my home page. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 patch in total. Okay, so from this landing page, you may refer to here. Okay, Okay, so from this landing page, if I go to the page A, that means currently there's a process in here. Okay, this is what the user see at the front end, front end. Okay, so when the user go to the page B, actually there's a stack. That means the process from page A just now, okay, the process from page A just now is currently running. But, okay, the user cannot see. The user can only see this one, the page B, the current page that they're viewing. That means they're currently at page B. So once the user go to the page C, the B and A become another stack under this C. Same goes if it's keep on like to the next page. That means if under page D, so ABC will be the stack under page D. However, the user don't see this process at the back end. So this not here. Okay, so when your app is a first launch, a new task is created for the user and the app display its start destination. So this becomes the best destination of what is known as the back stack and is the basis for your app navigation stack. The top of the stack is the current screen. Like I said, what they can see, the current view. So, and the previous destination is the stack represent the history of where you have been. Okay, that's mean it will keep on increasing if you go to the next page. However, there's one rule in designing. This is not in this lecture note and not, I don't think this is part of it, but it is under UI. There's one rule when you want to design, for example, okay, so this one is my first page. If I want to go to the next page, that means I need to click one click, let's say. And then if I go to this page, I need to click to another page. Same goes to this one. There's another rules in UI is a good UI, a good design, they should limit the number of the click. They should limit the number of the click. That's mean for the user, for example, they have one destination, one destination page they want to view. For example, they want to view the details of something, okay, the details of anything. They shouldn't click more than 3 click, okay, 3 click if I'm not mistaken. That one is under UI. So to reduce the complexity, this is my suggestion to you for your, because your assignment, you need to develop a mobile application. Yeah, the assignment this morning, you need to develop a mobile application. So to reduce the complexity of your mobile application, reduce the number of click. Reduce the number of click, that means you shouldn't create page like this one. Okay, let's say this one is your one, two. Okay, let's say this one is your destination. Okay, so reduce the number of complexity. That means if you can reduce, if you can reduce this page, okay, let's say you can reduce this page, then reduce this page. That means from this start point to this page, the user only click 2 times, which is 1 times to go from A and 1 times to go from A to B. Okay, so reduce the complexity, the number of clicking. So this one is the second principle. Next is up and back are identical with your app task. So this one, the app, up, up, and the back button. Okay, up. So the up button appears in the app bar at the top of the screen here within your app's task, and back button behave identically. So the back button appears in the system navigation bar at the bottom, this one, the second image here of the screen, and is used to navigate in reverse chronological order through the history screen user has recently worked with. Okay, if you remember, I said earlier just now, I said back button is from, let's say I'm from page 1 to page 2 and to page 3. So for back button, it will from page 3 to page 2, and then from page 2 to page 1. That means they're going to revisit, they're going to go back to the previous page that I visited. And then when you press the back button, the current destination is top of the back stack. The stack is just now, the stack function is the one just now. That's mean they are going to go based on the history, and you then navigate to the previous destination. Okay, this one is long explanation. However, the back button here, that's mean you can, it will take the user back to the previous page. Okay, that's mean they cannot jump from, let's say from page 3, I cannot go directly to page 1. This back button. Okay, so this one is the explanation. Guys, can you give me like 5 minutes? Just 5 minutes. Yeah, I want to turn on the aircon. It's hot in the office. Just 5 minutes. Sorry, it's not even 1 minute. Can I continue? I think, yeah, I can continue. So just now, the navigation principle. Okay, so up and back are identical within your app's task. Okay, this one is what we call a stack, S-T-A-C-K. Even in Java, we have this, for Java, we have this concept. That means they are in stack. Stack is like this one. And then the back button appears in the system of the navigation bar. This one is the same explanation just now. Okay, so this is the concept, the stack. That means if I'm from page C, I go back, I have this back button. If I'm from page C, I want to go back to page B, and then it will reload. Reload, that means it's going to reload back the history from this page B. Same goes when I go to back to page A and to my landing page. Okay. Okay, the up button never exists in your app. So if a user is at the app start destination, if I'm currently at here, start, then the up button does not appear because the up button never exists in the app. What does it mean? If I'm currently if I'm currently at the first page, the landing page, that is literally my first page. There's no page before that landing page because that is the first page. So this the up button never exists in the app. So the back button, however, is shown and does exist in the app. Okay. So the up button never exists in your app if you're at the start destination. Start destination, the home page just now. Next is deep linking. What is a deep linking? Like I said, for a deep linking, okay, a deep linking, it is actually allow the user go straight to the apps. That means you don't have to go to the website to see this any particular information. So navigation design should simulate manual navigation. Example, from the app navigator to the main screen of the app, and then to a detailed screen. This helps to support user mental processing of entering a house, main door, living room, and the room. What does it mean? Here you see the manual. Okay, this manual term here. What does it mean by manual? That means it is step by step from one page to another page. Okay, as you can see here, to stated that this is to increase, to support the user mental processing. Okay, for example, here, if you want to go to the room, of course, first you need to enter the house, and then the main door, the living room, and then the room. Okay, this one is actually, in other words, is to increase the user experience. Okay, because this is the process that the mobile application will do. Okay, deep linking. That's mean from here, from this app, I go to this landing page. Let's say this one is my landing page. Okay, let's say this one is my landing page. So from my landing page, my home page, I go maybe to the menu. First, maybe there's another menu, plan, and then from plan, I go to select any. This one is Apple. So it's going to show you the details, okay? Manual navigation from one step to one step. Sorry, from one page to another page. Okay, so before I go to the next page, is there any question up to this navigation principle? No, no, is not here, right? Yeah. Rachel, do you have question, Rachel? Lim? No. So I will proceed. Okay, so that one is the navigation principle. Like I said, there's no specific or there's no specific method for the UI. If you want to talk about UI, however, we have a principle, we have a guideline of framework for the developer to follow. Next is what is the behavior of the back and up button. This question I will assign to, oh yeah, I remember in class last time, yeah, our last class I said we're going to discuss the question. However, I didn't assign. So I think actually in this lecture, not I already assigned the question, but we're going to see your name later. So for this one, I'm going to assign to, oh wait, is Elvin in this class? Elvin in this class, right? Is it? No. Ah, Daniel, since you respond. No. Okay. Since Daniel responds, so this one is for you, Daniel. Okay. Not for today. Okay, for the next class, Daniel. Okay, so why the behavior of the back and the up button must be different? Okay, the back and the up button. The back button is we go back, we reload back the history. That's mean we're going back to the history. The up button, that's mean you can jump to the home page. Okay, so this one is for you. I already said the answer is now. However, you need to share your answer also in our next class. Okay, Daniel? Next is this one. Build a dynamic and multi-pane UI using Fragment. What is dynamic? That means it is not constant. Constant is what? It is not fixed. Okay, multi-pane. What is multi-pane? Multi-pane here in for mobile application, it is referring to a layout. We combine two layout together using Fragment. Fragment is like a class. We're going to see in this part. And multi-pane. That's mean combining two layout together. UI using Fragment. Okay, so we'll go with this note first. So a fragment represents a reusable portion of your app's UI. So a fragment defines and manages its own layout, has its own life cycle, and can handle its own input events. Input events here is referring to the trigger to that patch. Okay, for example, trigger to that patch. Let's say I have one button. Maybe next button, next, maybe next button. So that next button is a trigger for the patch or the next patch to appear. Okay, okay, so it's on input event, the trigger to that event, what triggered that event. So each fragment is hosted by a fragment activity. It can be swapped into and out of an activity. So here, fragment. Fragment activity is referring to the class. Yeah, that means we can reuse back this UI part in the apps. So here, sorry, I have this fragment. Under this fragment, I have layout and code. Code is the code. The source code layout is the interface. Okay, so this one is the fragment activity. Just now, this is my basic. Yeah, this is my basic. So under this fragment, I only have layout and code. And then fragment activity. Now my fragment activity for the event to occur, I have this one. Okay, I combine this layout and code together under this fragment activity. Okay, so this one just now, it can be swept into and out of an activity. So basically now from this fragment, I already have under this activity. Okay, I have my code and I have my layout. Okay, because for activity to occur, of course, you need to have the code and of course you need to have the layout. So now this is the last point here. It can be swept into and out of an activity. Okay, I can include and I can what is it? I mean, like I can make it inside here and I can kick it from the activity. So here I can swap into this fragment activity and I can swap out from my current activity. Okay, so from fragment A, I can swap out. Okay, so that one is fragment. But for the basic for fragment is you need to know that reuse. Okay, reusable, yeah, reuse portion part of my UI. Okay, so here I have fragment. So remember for fragment we have code, the source code and the layout, your interface. Okay, and the fragment I have these two. Okay, so remember fragment, this means reusable portion. I can use that part of my particular UI fragment. So Fragment introduce modularity and reusability into your activity UI by allowing you to divide UI into discrete chunks. What is it meant by modularity? Okay, so back to the definition of fragment. Reusable portions. Okay, reusable portions, this one. Okay, so that's mean the portion is based on the modularity function. Yeah, function. Modularity here can refer to the function. Okay, can refer to the function. So the reusability is based on the modularity. Reusability based on the function. Okay, so it's a part of the function or part of the module that I can reuse into my activity UI. Okay, so here is my example. So an example of how two UI modules defined by fragment. Okay, so this one is my fragment. Okay, fragment activity, I have two different landscape, which is, sorry, two different mode, which is landscape mode and portrait mode. I think you know what is landscape mode, portrait mode. This one you can go to even to this view also, you can have these two view, two mode. Okay, so I just reuse, because the terms is reuse, right? Reusability. I reuse that part of modularity into a new fragment. So here I have two different modes, landscape mode and portrait mode. Okay, so this fragment one I can use into this fragment two. As you can see here, two different fragment, right? So this fragment one, I can reuse, okay, reuse in fragment, sorry, in other mode. Same goes with this one. Fragment 2, I can reuse into this one, fragment 2. Okay. It is actually, if I can relate with the software, if you write function, you can reuse that function, right? So it is the same concept. Okay, same concept, not same code, same concept, reusability. Here, modularity and reusability. Like I said just now, modularity can be referring to a function. Reusability is the reusability. We can use, okay, but for this context, it is the part of the UI. Okay, next is fragment activity here. Okay, this one. So consider an app that responds to various screen size. Screen size is the screen size. On larger screens, the app should display a static navigation drawer and a list of grid layout. So on smaller screen, the app should display a bottom navigation bar and a linear layout. Okay, that's mean, okay, if you understand the previous page just now, sorry, okay, we can use this example, the mode. Here we have two view is in two mode here, landscape mode and portrait mode. So if you understand this concept, you can understand this concept. Okay, it's just the view, the layout of your current screen. That means if you have different screen, you can use the same function. Okay, the fragment just now. So the app should display a static navigation drawer on a list on a grid layout. The function is still the same. Like I said, we reuse the function. We reuse the function modularity. Modularity and reusability. So we reuse the modularity and we just change the layout. Okay. So this one is the landscape mode. Okay, so this one is the example actually on the landscape mode, for landscape mode just now. And then item 1, this one is, yeah, for fragment 2, we call this item 1, details of item 1. Same goes with this one. If it's item 2, the function for item 2, it will show the details of that function. Okay, this one is the portrait mode, like I said again. Okay, the concept, the function. Sorry, I used to say function because for software we use function, right? But for here you use modularity. So this one, the modularity. Okay, portrait mode. Okay, portrait mode. This now is landscape mode. Okay, landscape mode and portrait mode. What is the difference? It's just the view, the layout. But the fragment here, if you scroll to the previous page, the item still same. Item 1, item 2, and item 3. You see, item 1, item 2, and item 3. The difference is in the layout. Okay, item 1, item 2, and item 3 still have the same function. Function here is referring to the purpose. Purpose of this item. If they want to show the details, for example, in this example, details of item. So the function is to show the details. Okay, the function still the same. However, the difference is only in the layout, the UI. Yeah, the UI, correct, the UI. Item 1, item 2, and item 3. Okay, fragment. So here I have this fragment and I have this function. Okay, I have this fragment class. Okay, for fragment class, where is my fragment class? Okay, for fragment class, it is a part of the activity that allow the more modular activity design. Okay, so here I have this fragment, another fragment on CRAD view. Okay, so here as you can see, we have layout inflator, view group, and bundle. Okay, so this is the description for each of these term under this fragment class. So for fragment class, remember it is a part of the activity that enable more modular activity design. So layout inflator. So the first one, object that start or initiate a layout XML file into its corresponding view. Okay, initiate the layout of XML into the corresponding view. Next is view group, the parent of the inflated layout. And then bundle, data about the previous instance of the fragment. Okay, bundle contain the data about the previous instance of this fragment. So this is the fragment class. Okay, so here is the example of the fragment class just now to add the layout for UI. Okay, so as you can see, here we have a step, 3-step, and a process. It's like a process, a flow. So first we have this fragment layout. Okay, okay. So first we have this fragment layout. So first is they're going to load the fragment layout into this fragment class. Okay, this one is our fragment class on create view. So load into this class. And then from this fragment into the activity layout, which contain the container, they are going to inflate this fragment layout. Last, they are going to load activity layout. Okay, the last result, which is on create. This one is the fragment activity. Okay, to add layout into the fragment class, into this one just now. Okay, add layout into the class. So this is like the basic flow, the basic logic to add the layout. Okay, communication between fragment. Okay, that's mean fragment to another fragment. Fragment, they can communicate, communication and interaction. So they can interact, but they cannot interact directly. They cannot, stated here, they cannot communicate directly. They need to have like a function in the middle as the platform. So two-method fragment, two-fragment communication, interaction, first view model, okay, a shared view model, a better method compared to two will be discussed in chapter 4. And then next is host activity. Okay, so for the idea of this communication or the interaction between fragment is they need to like to have something in the middle for the interaction to occur. They cannot directly communicate. Okay, yeah, two fragments should never communication, should never communicate directly. Okay, you can use this view model. For view model, if you remember, we have this term VMC, view model controller. Okay, view model controller, the VMC, it's almost the same concept. And the next is we have this host activity. Okay, so this one is the example. I have two fragments here, A and B. Okay, A and B. Like I said in the previous slide just now, I cannot hear Don. That means my fragment A, I cannot directly interact with my fragment B. B also cannot interact directly. In any way, they cannot interact directly. As you can see here, in the first this previous slide, we have two methods. First, we are using this view model method. Second, we have this control host activity. So here, okay, we have view model and the activity, fragment activity, host activity, host activity. So if you want to communicate this, if they want to have any interaction, they need to go through this view model or through this host activity. It's too big. Okay, the fragment need to go through this VM, view modeler, or this host activity, cannot directly communicate. As you can see here, don't and do. They can communicate, but not directly. Okay, this one is the explanation from the previous slide just now. Okay, so next is this one, main activity. So headline, use case, like a function. So main activity, headline, fragment, list fragment. I can have this 1, 2, 3 item. Okay, and then this article fragment will show any current item or any current function. Okay, use case, remember, it's a function. Okay, the main activity, the main process. Next is just now we already see the path, the navigation. So remember, navigation is the process or a path, okay, from one page to another page, from the current page to the previous page. Okay, navigation, a path. And then next we are going to see what is the component or element for this navigation. Okay, so create navigation component, how to allow the navigation. Sorry. So next is under navigation component, we have three. Okay, graph, letter, navigation host or nav host and navigation controller. Okay, so this is basically other component for our navigation. The first one is navigation graph. Okay, first component is navigation graph. So graph, navigation graph. So what is navigation graph? So basically navigation graph is XML resource that contain all navigation related information. What is it mean? So here, navigation related information. That's mean, oh, okay, we go to this one first. So this includes all the individual content areas within your app called destination, as well as the possible path that a user can take through your app. Okay, here, navigation related information. What does it mean? So that's mean this navigation graph will store the information about here. You may refer to this one, the last second note here. They can store the information about the destination. Destination in navigation, okay, referring to the intended or targeted page. Here we are talking about mobile application. So it is the targeted page. For example, I have this, okay, learning application again. Okay, my learning application. Let's say in my learning application, I can see the history of the user. No, it's not history of the learning material. No, let's say I want to view the learning material. Okay, let's say in my application, I have this one page where I can view the learning material. So the user can go to that particular page and view that learning material. So this navigation graph will store all the information about the destination. Just now, the page, the learning material page. Okay, it will store the information of the destination, and it can store the information how the user can get into that page. Get into that page, that's mean how the user can reach that page. Is there any, for example, the user need to go to the learning material. Maybe the user need to go to the menu first and then click on the learning material or any other path. Okay, navigation related information. So they will keep all the information how the user can get to the to the destination. Okay, the intended page, the target page. Okay, the path, the path, how to get there. That one is navigation graph. Okay, so here, so you can use the navigation yeah. So here you can use the navigation editor to create the navigation graph. So the start destination is the first screen user see when opening your app. This one is I said earlier in our class, start destination, your home page, landing page. Okay, your main page, yeah, the home page when opening your apps, and it's the last screen user see when existing your app. Before the user exists, actually before the user exists the app. So here, okay, so this one, okay, start destination, navigation home. Actually, okay, if you okay, start destination, not necessary this one, and not necessary navigation home, but of course, I mean, like if you set other page. Okay, for example, I want to play with my code. I set this one not as navigation home. Let's say I set this one. Here we have, okay, we have navigation home, navigation gallery, and navigation slideshow. Okay, three page. Let's say I set my start destination. Let's mean my landing page as this page, which is navigation underscore slideshow. Okay, let's say, uh, let's say this one is my destination. I set this one is my start destination. So my landing page, the first page is this one. Okay, the navigation slide show. But of course, we already designed the navigation home as my first destination. Okay, so from this navigation home, I can go to this, sorry, I can go to this navigation gallery and navigation slide show. Okay, so this is where you set your starting point, your start page, your landing page. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, let me explain the code. So this one just now, I set your landing page. You set your landing page. What is your landing page? What is your landing page? And then this one is the fragment part. And this one is the body. Okay, so Android name, my application, home fragment. And then this one is the other page. As you can see, home gallery, sorry, home to gallery, home to slideshow. Okay, that's mean from this home, I can go to which page if I have, since here I only have two page, gallery and slideshow, so that's why I only have two here. If you want to add more, you just copy paste, sorry, you just write this part and add your page. Okay, so fragment here, Android ID, navigation gallery. So this one, navigation gallery. Okay, this is the part and this is the part to this page. Okay, so if you see this term, navigation, that means it's like a link to the page from what? From, for example, from this page, home, I want to link it to this gallery. And then from this home, I also want to link to this slideshow page. Okay, it's like a link. Yeah. So a navigation graph contains multiple fragment elements. Like I already explained this now. Okay, so this element can refer to this one, home gallery and slideshow. Okay, and action is a logical connection between destination. Actions are represented in the navigation graph as arrow. Okay, logical connection is referring to the flow. Okay, flow from one page to another page. Here, example, from home to gallery. Okay, from home to gallery, from home to slideshow. Okay, like I said, navigation, if you see this term, I said it like this now. That means it's a path, a link, how you want to link from one page to another page. So it is stated here, logical connection of flow. Okay, logical connection is a flow. Yeah, it's a flow. A flow from one page to another page, or how you want to link this page. If the user click on any button on this page, for example, which page will appear. Next is navigation host. Okay, before I proceed with this navigation host, is there any question? If no, can we have 10-minute break and continue at 2:10 p.m.? Is that okay? Sorry. Okay, thank you. See you at 2:10 p.m. So, hi everyone. Can I continue? Please raise your hand if you are there. Thank you. So, um, let's proceed with the navigation. Okay, so remember navigation is a path. Okay, a path from one page to another page, or from your landing page, from your home page to your destination or your target page. So just now before our break, okay, I already explained this part, the graph. Okay, navigation graph. That's mean it is a page that contain all the related information from your home page to the destination. Yeah, to your destination. So next is navigation host. Okay, so an empty container, an empty container that display destination from your destination, sorry, navigation graph. Okay, so navigation host, it is a fragment that have an empty container that display destination from the navigation graph. So the navigation components contain a default navigation host implementation and display the fragment destination. How do I have this navigation host? Okay, so for navigation host, it is provide an area within your layout for your self content. If you don't understand, this is a direct explanation actually. It is a fragment that have or contain an empty container that display the destination. Destination is the target from your navigation graph. Okay, so this one, okay, so an empty container. Okay. Wait, where's the patches now? Yeah, it is a fragment with empty container. Okay, so empty container. So this one, the one in this line of code, line number 15. Okay, so intercepts the system back button. Only one navigation host can be default. Okay, one navigation host can be default. So that means you need to set this one to true. Boolean value. Yeah, Boolean value. Okay, intercept the system back button. Only one navigation host can be default. So this one is the link to the navigation graph. So if you remember, so in the previous patch, I explained that this navigation host, it is an empty container and display destination from your navigation graph. So this is the part in your code navigation graph. So link to the navigation graph. They are going to your they're going to link to the navigation graph. So if you remember what is navigation graph just now, it will show the information of the destination. It can keep the information of your destination. Okay. Next is controller, navigation controller. So navigation graph, navigation host, and navigation controller. So navigation graph, it is an XML resource that contain, this one is the one I explained this now, navigation related information in one centralized location. Okay, this include all the individual content areas within your app called destination as well as the possible path using through your app. Okay. Oh, however, I didn't explain what is centralized location. Centralized location, that means they have this one, it's like they have one focus, sorry, one area, one location. They are going to keep your information. Okay, one area they're going, it's not area, one part they are going to keep all the related information. Okay, that's mean they are going to keep all the information, all the related information in one location. Okay, so navigation controller. Wait. So navigation controller, another notes for you is it can use to manage application navigation. Okay, manage the application navigation controller, control the navigation for your application. So this one is a function to get this controller. Okay, controller for navigation controller. Remember, it control the navigation. I think the name is here. So method to get navigation controller. Okay, so this one is the method, the function. Find navigation controller. Okay, so you need to have this function fragment.find navigation controller and then find the controller. Okay, so this one is your activity. Fragment view and activity.find controller. So for example, this one is the syntax. So this one is the example how to use this method, this function. Okay, so navigation controller, and then this one is your name, variable name. No, this one is the find navigation controller, and this one is your fragment. Okay, so this one navigation controller, navigate to action, navigation home to profile, fragment. Okay, how to control the navigation. Just remember, for navigation controller, it is used to navigate it is used to control the navigation. Okay, so this one is the question for the previous part. I already assigned to this student. For question number 1, what is the main difference between fragment and an activity? This one is Celine. And what are the advantage of using fragment compared to activity? Ivan, why a fragment should not communicate with a fragment directly? Jeremiah, why a fragment should not communicate with another fragment directly? If I'm not mistaken, it is not stated in this lecture note. In this lecture note, if I'm not mistaken, I only explain that the fragment cannot communicate directly. Okay, but there's no explanation why they cannot communicate directly. Okay, so question 1, Celine, Ivan, and Jeremiah. Next is a dialogue. Okay, so up to this part, is there any question? No? Kelvin Shak, do you have question? Wong Zisheng, are you here? If you notice, sometimes if you notice, okay, this one is not part of the lecture note. If you notice, sometimes when I mention the term, for example, the method, just now I mentioned about function, right? Function, method, the term modularity just now. Modularity. In our lecture note, it is that here in this lecture note, they use this term modularity, but I use the term function and method. It is because honestly, I'm not really, this mobile application is not my stuff. This is not my, this is not my, this is not my, how do I say this? This is not my stuff. Okay, I can develop, I can program if for web-based or system application, but using mobile application, of course, you're using, for mobile application, I did develop a mobile application and I, of course, have the knowledge on mobile application. But if you ask me, right, to choose web-based or mobile application, I will go with web-based. However, okay, you need to know one thing. Mobile application is what people are into is there. Okay, that's mean if you have this knowledge, mobile application, if you go for, let's talk about your FYP. Okay, FYP. it is something good or something, yeah, it's like advantage to you if you know how to create a mobile application. Honestly, last time when I asked for a job, when I look for a job, I use a mobile application too. I'm just not interested in developing more mobile application, but mobile application is a good thing for you, especially when you want to develop your FYP project, a FYP project, and your job. If you want to look for a job, so later for your FYP, I'm not telling you to do mobile application for your FYP. Okay, I'm not telling you. It's up to your preference actually. Like me, even though like I said, I'm not into this area of knowledge, but I did develop an application because I know that's the market for me. I can compete with others using my mobile application. So let's say later for your assignment, this .apk, the one that you need to send to me, you make a copy of it. That means like what I did last time, I keep the .apk file in my phone. So during the interview, I show them the application so you can market yourself. So like I said, even though I'm not so into this thing, but at least I know and I develop one application. Okay. If you know Mr. Jefter, do you have class with Mr. Jefter? Jefter Edward, if I'm not mistaken. Jefter, do you know him? He's a part-timer with us. I'm not sure if you have class with him, but if I'm not mistaken, you have class. No? Mr. Jefter? Jefter Edward? You don't have class? Mr. Jefter, he has a twin actually, Mr. Jafhat. That Jafhat, Mr. Jefter is our part-timer. Then Mr. Jefter has a twin. Mr. Jafhat is my ex-classmate. So this mobile application, if you ask him to develop, it's matter of days for him to develop. For some people, not me, I cannot develop in one week mobile application. For some people, if especially you know using the Android Studio just now, if you have the skill, then it will be very easy for you to develop. So what you need to know is just explore the Android Studio. I can develop a mobile application, but like I said, it won't be days for me. Just not my stuff. Okay. So yeah, I'm done with my free lecture. So now let's back to this lecture note, dialogue. Okay. What is a dialogue? Dialogue is like pop-up. For example, a pop-up window. For example, if you want to exit, if you notice, for example, Shopee, if you're familiar with Shopee application, if you want to exit that application, they will pop up like a dialogue, a small dialogue. They ask yes or no. Yes or no, that means they ask for your confirmation if you really want to exit or no. Okay, yes or no. That is the example of dialogue. Okay, so dialogues, what is dialogue? Like I said, it's like a pop-up, a message window. So use dialogue for critical information. So critical information, dialogue, for example, in one application, if you want to submit information, sorry, if you want to submit a form, okay, usually when you submit, usually when we submit a form, they will ask for confirmation. Are you sure it's like a confirmation to submit. So that one is critical information. They're going to check with us if we really want to submit the information. Critical information, they ask for confirmation. Okay, that one is for critical. Second is make decisions. Make decision is the yes or no. Just now I said for Shopee, for example, Shopee or any other application, they ask for us to confirm if you want to exit, yes or no, decision. Okay, continue or cancel, that decision. And then encapsulate multiple tasks within a discrete process. What does it mean? Encapsulate, that's mean in one pop-up, okay, for example, in one window, a pop-up window, they have a multiple tasks. For example, multiple tasks, they can view you or they can display a message. And then under that message, you can click yes and no again. Okay, encapsulate multiple tasks. That means that dialogue, that pop-up, a window pop-up, usually it's a window pop-up, it's a pop-up, and then they will encapsulate multiple tasks within a discrete process. But this one, you have to be very careful when you use this one, when you're at this part, encapsulate multiple tasks. If you want to make a window, a pop-up, or here a dialog, make sure you know what you want to do. Okay, so it is stated here. Use it sparingly because they are interactive in nature. Okay, that's mean minimize this dialog where you have multiple tasks under one dialog. Okay, so like I said just now, one pop-up window, for example, under that one pop-up window, okay, under one pop-up window, for example, you have yes and no. Let's say if I click yes, there's another pop-up window. They will pop up another, they will display another window. Okay, so you need to use it, you need to minimize it. But for some cases, we cannot avoid, especially when you have a complex mobile application. Okay, when you have a complex mobile application. For example, Shopee is not that complex for me because they minimize. They don't really have this function where they will encapsulate multiple tasks. But for some mobile application, they will have this one. Okay, referring to your assignment, because I already checked your assignment, I already read your assignment, you should avoid this thing because the application, the options that you have in the assignment, four or three, I don't remember, four, I think, four options, the mobile application shouldn't be a complex one. That means you should avoid this one. If you want to ask for confirmation, that's it. Make it only one dialog. You don't have to go another pop-up. Then next is dialog, notification, and snack bar. Okay, component, snack bar, sorry. We have component, priority, and user action. So snack bar, what is a snack bar? It is a priority, low priority. That means user action optional. It disappears automatically. Okay, let's use our laptop, my machine, for example. If this one snack bar, if I think all of us, if we have, they will show us like a small pop-up button where there is not button, message at the bottom. They will say like, my battery is low, okay, but it will disappear automatically. Okay, this is a low priority. That means once they already show you the message, when they already display you the message, it will disappear automatically. Okay, the example just now is my battery. Battery is low. And then notification, medium, optional. It remains until dismissed by the user or if the step that caused the obfuscation is resolved. This one is some notification. This one is optional. Okay, usually you will see this pop-up. I said it as pop-up because for window, we call it as a pop-up. So we have this close button, X button, okay? It remains until dismissed by the user or if the step that caused the obfuscation is resolved, they will terminate the process, okay? And then dialog, high, required. This one is you have, if the operation, sorry, the mobile application have a high priority. That means the user need to interact. The user need to key in something or yeah, need to respond to that pop-up. So here user action required. That means they won't dismiss until the user key in or respond with the dialog. So it blocks app usage until the user takes a dialog action or exits the dialog. Okay, dialog, this one is in high priority. That means they will ask for the user interaction. Okay, so for this one, low, medium, and high, this one is depend. You need to know when you develop a mobile application, even a software, okay, you need to know which component that you need to use. For some, not necessary, you will have this one. For example, this dialog. Not necessary in one application, you will have this dialog. Okay. Same goes to other component. It depends on the function or the use of your mobile application. You need to know when to use them. And then the one I mentioned just now, user experience. To have a good user experience, you need to apply some of these components. Okay. Usually For serious operation, of course, we will go with this one, dialog. That means the user need to key in. If not, this message, this dialog will be there. Usually notification, just to tell the user is enough. Okay. So for your assignment, I'm not sure yet in details, okay, I repeat, I'm not sure yet in details if you need this function. Okay, I am not sure, but I can tell from the description of your assignment, you can go up to this one. Okay, again, I'm not sure if you need this one. If you need, then yeah, just apply this element, this component. Okay, so this one is the dialog. So this one is the dialog. Like I said, they ask the user. Okay, this one is the draft, cancel and discard. And then the second one here, sample dialog, is set backup account. Okay, alert dialog and simple dialog. Okay, they ask the user, if let's say I'm the user, if I don't respond to this, then I cannot dismiss this dialog. Okay, I need to select, it's either cancel or discard, yes or no. And then same goes to this one. Okay, set backup account. I need to choose one of these in order for the user to go to the next page. Okay, next is confirmation dialog. Still under dialog, which is the confirmation dialog. I think we all can see this one in our phone, which is the phone ringtone, to select from these options. And then full screen dialog. This one, if you want to set, for example, Google event notification, so this one is a full screen dialog. Okay, so this one is an example of dialog. So here, as you can see, we have a extra additional link in here. Actually, right, I want to share something with you. For Android Studio, because I used Android Studio last time too, for Android Studio, if you know how to play and if you explore the component, the tools, the console in the Android Studio, it's very fun to use. And I can say, because we need to write some code, right? I'm not sure, but I think it's quite easy. It is quite easy to write the code. Okay. So I think, yeah, for your assignment, I expect to see some good mobile application. I'm not sure to why I'm not into mobile application. Maybe because I have another interest, so I'm not really into mobile application. Okay. So dialogues. So avoid open additional dialogues. What does it mean? If you remember, I said this now. From one pop-up, try to avoid, try to minimize. Okay, minimize, because sometimes we cannot avoid. So try to minimize to pop-up, to display another page, another dialogue from the dialogue. Okay, it's like nested, a dialogue in a dialogue. So you click one button, it will pop up a dialogue. And then from that dialogue, if the user click another button, for example, they will they will display another dialogue. Try to avoid. But like I said, for some cases, some situations, some event, we cannot avoid the dialogue, especially on a complex application. And then content scrolling content, particularly alert. Okay, content scrolling content. Content scrolling content. That's mean from that dialogue. Okay, for example, I need to scroll. Okay, from that dialogue, I need to scroll. Okay, particularly alert. Try to avoid this one. But this one is the most common one that I see if I want to install software. But for mobile application, it's quite rare actually. Okay, particularly alert. Alert is something that your user need to know. A notification and alert. Okay, exception include full screen dialog may open additional dialog such as because the design accommodates additional layer of material without significantly increasing the app's perceived Z, depth, or visual noise. Okay, like I said, avoid. But for some cases, some event patch, for example, we cannot avoid. Okay, so this one is the example of the first one, alert dialog, alert pop-up. Okay, title, optional. Let's mean what is it? Okay, for example, here we have a brightness. This one is the title, so that I know that this is to set the brightness of my phone. Okay, however, it is an optional, but usually for pop-up, for a dialog, they will come with a title or a name. Okay, and then content area. This can display a message, a list, or other custom layout. This part actually, the slide bar, right? This one, the slide bar, this one. Okay, this one is the content area, not necessarily a message. This one they are going, this one they are using this element. Okay, so display message. If it is a message, then it is a message. What is, since I think I talked too much, I want to ask you, what is this? The automatic brightness. What is element? What is the element of this one? Explain last class, I remember. What is this? It is a radio button, checkbox, fill, drop-down menu. What is this? Checkbox, thank you. It is a checkbox. Yes, it is a checkbox. Okay, so this one is the content area. Okay, like I said, not necessarily a message. It can be any element. So an action button, there should be no more than 3 action buttons in a dialog. Okay, 3 action buttons. So here I have 2 action buttons. The first one is the checkbox. This one is a slide bar. If I'm not mistaken, the name slide bar. So here, 3, not more than 3 action buttons. So I have 2 in here. Okay, why is it this one? Okay, actually, if actually, like I said, in UI, there's no specific rules. Okay, this one is only a guideline. Actually, there's no problem. If I want to if I want to design a dialog, I want to include 3 or more. However, it is not good for a user experience. Okay, that's why they state here. This is a guideline. So avoid to create or to include more than 3 action in one dialog. Okay, avoid this one. I'm sorry, avoid 3 or more action button. You still can create, no problem. That's your application. However, it is not good for a for a user experience. And then because, what is because? Because here is, as you can see, for the time and the date. Actually, you can scroll this one. I mean, in the application, we can scroll. Okay, so pick a time or a date. That's mean this dialog will pop up if there's a event trigger. Event trigger something, maybe a button, for example, or here that, right? Maybe if the user click on a calendar icon, the event trigger, it will show this one. Okay, this one, because this one is Kotlin. Yeah, this one is Kotlin. Kotlin code. Yeah, this one is Kotlin code. So here time picker fragment. Okay, time picker. So it's going to show this one just now, the time, the AM, PM, set time, this thing. And then dialog fragment, time picker, dialog, and on time set listener. Create dialog. So I have see our minute. Okay, this one is the element, if I can say, the term element. Okay, element, calendar, hour, and minute. So create new instance, override particle minute. Okay, so this one is the class to create the time picker. Okay. Wait, where is the, give me a moment, I'm looking for the time, set time on create. No, it's okay. I'm looking for one code, but it's okay. However, this one is the how you want to set because as you can see here, you can have this variable, which is calendar, hour, and minute. And then this one is to create a new instance for time picker to display the picker, the dialog. And this one is the on time set for this value. Do something with the time choose by the user. Okay, so this one is the layout, the interface of that picker, how the user will see. This one just now is to set the function at the back end. This one to set for the user layout for the front end. Okay, so like usual, we have this Android layout, white, head, and text, and on click. Okay, so this one, if you notice, if you play with your Android Studio, for this, for some basic, okay, I repeat, for basic function, it's not function, for basic line of code, okay, they will suggest you, they have this suggestion function. That's mean, for example, if you type Android text, they will display, sorry, they will like a menu for you to choose, okay? It's like this, they suggest, suggestion function. Okay, so here they have this Android on click show time picker dialog. Okay, so that's mean if this user click on this particular button, for example, or icon, they will pop up the dialog, the picker. Okay, so this is for the front end code. So this one is another question I assigned already. Which dialog is better? Okay, so this one is from our previous example. This one for Calvin Chuck and Noel. Okay, discard draft, cancel, and discard draft, no and yes. Okay, actually, if you see these two dialogue, okay, if you see these two dialogue, alert dialogue, this one is the same function, but the difference is at the word. Word here is referring to this one, cancel, discard, no, and yes. Okay, so actually, because like I said, this one is UI, user interface. I'm talking about how they present the data to the user. If we talk about the function, the back-end process, this is the same. Cancel and no, discard and yes, it's just about the wording. Okay, so this one, I, I assigned to Calvin Shark, but actually this one is more to opinion. Opinion, which one is the best for user experience? Okay, but again, like I said, yeah, I want to see what is your answer. I want to know what's your answer. It's not about the function. Function is still the same. Okay, and then evaluate the following full screen dialog. Okay, this one is no L. This one, new event, event name. Okay, the event name. This one is like a pop-up when you want to create a event. Google event, for example. Next is create navigation drawer. It's like a menu. So up to this page, is there any question? No. Okay, create a navigation drawer. B should be better, easier to understand. Some people understand the word cancel and discard. Yeah, if that's your answer. Okay, so like I said, user experience. Why if Calvin said that B is better, no and yes, because it's a straightforward. But I will agree with you, not every user, not everyone can understand this function. Sorry, it's not function again. This term, discard. Okay, for good user experience, for simple, because actually for your information, this one is related to UI, user interface, HUI. For a user, actually we have level of user. What does it mean? Uh, if you notice, when you want to install, I'm talking about software. If you want to install something, you have this button where they ask you to choose if you want to customize or recommended function. For recommended function, it is for a user, a beginner. Okay, for a beginner. And then for for a customize, that's mean the user can customize. Sorry, the user can customize. So actually we have different type of different level, not different type, different level of user. Okay, for a beginner, it is suggested to use this one. Okay, beginner, first timer. Not everyone can understand this term, this cut and cancel. Okay. So yes, if for a beginner, actually we will go with this one. This one is quite easy, no and yes. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Create navigation drawer. Sorry. Okay, navigation drawer displays the app's main navigation option. This one. Okay. Okay, this one is for example, our again, Shopee. Okay, we have this function where they have the main navigation option. You can directly jump, you can directly go to this page, this menu. Okay. Okay, so recommended for more than of 5 top level destination. What is it mean by this one? Level. Okay, level here in mobile application or in software too, level of destination is from one page, for example, okay, earlier in this chapter, if you remember, we have the stack, S-T-S-E-K, we have A, B, C, C right up to C. That means we have 3 level. Okay, so if here we have 5 level, that means we have A, B, C, D, E. For example, from main page is now, let me scroll back. For example, this one, okay, for example, setting. Okay, let's say setting. So this patch is my first patch. So I'm at level 1. Let's say I go to the setting. It's in patch 2. Okay, so I have 2 level up to setting patch. Let's say in setting patch, what are in setting patch? Let's say I have another button that lead to another patch. That means it's at the 3rd level. Okay, level, 3rd level. That is level. So for example here, I have 5 top level destination. That means I have from patch A, I go to patch B, and then patch C, D, and E. And of course, this is a link from patch A to patch B to patch C to patch D, and lastly, the last level, D to E. Okay, 5 top level destination. However, okay, there's another rules. This one is in UI too. In UI, for a good application or a good software, there's a rules that the user from the first page to the destination page, they shouldn't, oh, I already said this now, they shouldn't click more than 3 times. That means the higher level is 3. But that one again is a guideline. Okay, a guideline for a UX. So here recommended for greater than or equal to 5 level of destination, and then sorry, 2 level of navigation hierarchy, and quick navigation between unrelated destination. Okay, so this one, navigation drawer. I think you guys are familiar with this one. This one in my web page for staff intranet, we have this function. Next is tab. What is tab? Okay, tab is this one. So it organize and allow navigation between group of content. Okay, group of content, for example, in the same class. So content should be related and at the same level of hierarchy. Like I said, in the same class, for example, subject, sorry, student attendance, for example. Under my student attendance, I should see the course code that I covered this semester. Okay, for example, integrative programming, Java, and this one. This one is mobile application. So this 4 course is under class of course. It should be related here, stated related at the same level of hierarchy. Okay, so for example, this one. Okay, for example, this one. Okay, this one we have Pat, Lily, and Alfred. What is this? I'm not sure, but okay, this one is under the same class. I'm curious. What's okay under the same class at the same level? Okay, so dog breeds. Okay, scrollable tab. Okay, so this one is the example. So this one is the last page. Okay, this one is the last page. So under this last page, we have a question. So the first question, compare navigation drawer and tabs. Okay, what is the difference between navigation drawer and tabs? This one is for Rachel. And then among navigation drawer and tabs, which UI is suitable for each of the following apps? So here I have news app, weather app, and contact app. Which navigation among this drawer tab is suitable for each of these? This one is the Wong, not the Solomon. I forgot, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but this one I assigned to Wong. Okay, Wong, yeah, I don't remember your name, not the Solomon, the Wong Wong. Okay, so first question, Rachel, second question, so Wong. Okay, so this is the last page of this chapter. So conclusion, understand the navigation principle. Principle is the rules. Okay, rules of navigation. Next is dynamic and multi-pen. Multi-pen is how we combine, how we combine two, the one is now, how we combine two layout, okay, using a fragment. How we combine two patch using a fragment. And navigation component, the dialog, drawer, and tabs. That's the end of this chapter. If you notice why I always say the UI UX things is because that's what I did last time. Okay, my area, my interest is in UI, user interface, user experience, HCI, human computer interaction. So I apply that knowledge into the mobile application. Like I said, mobile application not really my stuff, but I applied the knowledge into the mobile application because this is what people are into these days in the field mobile application. Okay, so this one is one of the part under the UI. So for this chapter, chapter 2.2, is there any question? Celine, do you have question? Ah, yeah, Wong, yeah, how? You have question? Jeremiah, Rochelle? I want to ask you for this course, mobile application development. I think I have no pending, no pending, how do I say this? No pending things from me, right? Because I already give you assignment, everything. I think, yeah, for this course, I have no pending, nothing pending from me. Okay, so if you have issue or problem with any of the material or your assignment or your Android Studio, you may come and talk to me. Okay, so if no question, we can dismiss the miss. Can cost spec. Cost spec is which one? Wait. If I have that one and I can share, cost spec is form B, is it? Let me show mine. Form B, I don't think I can share with student. But no, let me check first cost spec. Because some of the form actually we cannot share with student. Let me double check if what I said is true. Um, uh, 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 cost file. What is this? Cost spec. The cost spec. This one I need to refer to my CC. I'm not sure if I can share this with student. Wong Zisheng, other lecture can share, other lecture do share. Okay, I will ask my CC first if I can share this one with student. I'm not sure if this is the form, but I will update in our WhatsApp group. Okay, Wong. Ian, it's not Wong, Ian. If I up